There is backlash on a plan to bring dedicated bus lanes on Bathurst and Dufferin in time for the FIFA World Cup. The city now looking at reversing course. Good afternoon. A plan for dedicated transit lanes on Bathurst and Dufferin streets could be scaled back.
City staff changing the recommendation after pushback from businesses. CTV's John Musselman is live with more. John.
Well, Nathan, as you well know, Bathurst is a very busy street, especially between Bloor and Eglinton. This story really goes back. We first visited this issue back in May. We did speak to some business owners here. We'll show you some video along this stretch. Now, the Rapid TO plan was to make dedicated bus lanes in the curb lanes all along Bathurst Street from Bloor up to Eglinton. This would improve transit for riders, speed up their time to get to where they're going, but business owners were concerned about losing parking, access to their buildings, and restocking their stores. So they had some pushback on that, and now we're learning that city staff are taking another look at this idea. It's not moving forward. It's on a bit of a pause right now. We did get reaction from some business owners and as well as some transit advocates who are disappointed with this call. Here's what they had to say.
I depend on, I'm doing summer art camps right now, and I depend on my families to be able to pick up, drop off, pick up within, my camp program hours, which is also within the legal parking on the street.
Transit users shop, and 35,000 people use Bathurst every day, and allowing them to get to their businesses faster can only help, I would expect. A good analog is the Bloor bike lanes. There was a big backlash from businesses when those were being considered, but they did not see any drop in business, and I believe they actually saw an increase.
Now, the staff recommendations will be put in a report. It will go to the executive committee next week. Reporting live on Bathurst Street, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Well, it's happened. Thank you, John. Well, it's happened again. The speed enforcement camera on Parkside Drive has been damaged for the 6th time in less than a year. The post on which the camera was mounted is still standing, but the device itself is gone. The latest replacement had gone online just last week following vandalism in May. This time around, city officials installed a separate surveillance camera to keep an eye on the speed camera. Toronto police say they're aware of this latest incident as they investigate a string of similar cases across the city.
Peel police have made 3 more arrests in connection with robberies targeting members of the South Asian community who may also be members of the LGBTQ2S+ community. In at least 3 incidents, investigators say suspects used social media to arrange meetings with victims under false pretenses. It's alleged the victims were then robbed and in some cases threatened with a firearm. 20-year-old Abhijot Singh of Brampton and 21-year-old Ritam Preet Singh of Mississauga were arrested in May and charged with multiple offenses, including kidnapping. Similar charges followed last week for 18-year-old Hardil Singh Merrick of Brampton and 2 teen boys ages 16 and 17.
In this case, we've got accused that are portraying themselves as members of the 2S LGBTQ+ community to create that sense of trust. We are pretty confident that if they've done it to these 3 individuals, the victims that have come forward, and again, I'll commend them for their courage in doing so, there may be others that are hesitant to come forward.
Police have issued an arrest warrant for 20-year-old Preetpal Cooner of Mississauga as their investigation continues.
We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a live look at the city this afternoon. A nice sunny start to the day. If you can get outside, maybe get a walk in, take advantage of the good weather. As usual, it seems there's a slight chance of showers. Lindsay Morrison is back with a look at the current conditions. Lindsay.
And Nathan, you may notice the humidity is back today, too. It is going to feel like 37 at the height of this afternoon. It already feels like 30 downtown Toronto, even though the temperature itself, core temperature, is a little bit cooler. At Pearson, 26 degrees right now, feeling like 33. And this is a temperature trend that's going to be ongoing for the next several days here. Winds are calm. They're coming out of the southeast right now at around 6 kilometers per hour, so you're not going to find much relief there. Satellite and radar, as usual, as you mentioned, we're watching for the chance of a pop-up shower or quick passing thunderstorm. Right now, we see a little initiation to the northwest of Alliston and around the Erin area. So today at a glance, chance of showers, slight risk of a thunderstorm. thunderstorm. But other than that, mix of sun and cloud, 29 degrees, but feeling like 37. We'll take you through the rest of the week and into the weekend with a detailed look at your forecast coming up. For now, Michelle, I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Mayor Olivia Chow is continuing her trade mission in the UK today. Following her visit to Ireland, the mayor is in London for a second day of meetings. Chow launched the trip with a goal of diversifying Toronto's economic ties in the face of U.S. tariffs. The first part of her itinerary today focused on promoting Toronto's film industry, including meetings with the BBC.
As BBC provides funding to British producers and filmmakers, and we are getting them very interested to co-produce movies or produce movies with Canadians, especially Torontonians. Some of the programs that we have, they do not know, and it is a very important opportunity for us to connect with each other. Some of them are coming to TIFF, so we are arranging meetings to continue the dialogue.
After meeting with her counterpart in Dublin earlier this week, Mayor Chow set to meet with London Mayor Sadiq Khan today. NDP leader Marit Stiles is speaking out about the government's recent takeover of 4 school boards, including the TDSB.
The takeover was the result of a spending probe, but the opposition leader says the government needs to prioritize investing in education. CTV's Beth McDonnell is live in Fairmont Park this afternoon with the latest in the situation. Beth.
Yes, Michelle, the leader of the opposition, union leaders, a trustee, and parents gathered in this East End Park to call for more investments into education rather than cuts. They cited a report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives that found since 2018, funding per student in Ontario has decreased by $1,500. Recently, the education minister took control of 4 school boards, including the TDSB and the Toronto Catholic District School Board, saying they failed in their responsibility to parents and students, losing sight of their core mission, ensuring student success. The minister says supervisors are being assigned to address alleged misspending, growing deficits, and depleting reserves, and some trustees have been locked out of their emails.
Doug Ford is using his own underfunding to justify a political power grab. And now local schools are being run by inexperienced political insiders, while elected local school board trustees are forbidden from talking to parents about their kids' education.
I see parents being pushed to the sidelines in this. Staff are stretched beyond their capacity, and it's our children who are falling through the cracks. What all of this means is that all of us are left to do more with less. While the government prioritizes spending money on luxury spas and tunnels under the 401 instead of funding our public education.
Despite the fact that the TDSB balanced its budget and that the investigation found no evidence of financial mismanagement, the Ford government continues to place the blame on trustees rather than where it belongs, squarely on themselves.
Some are concerned the moves made are being done to eliminate school trustees, which the group here today says are vital to ensure communication between families and the school system. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Michelle and Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. U.S. President Donald Trump says his threatened 50% tariff on copper imports will take effect on August 1st. Trump says the move follows a robust national security assessment. He goes on to say copper is the second most used material in the Department of Defense. Industry Minister Melanie Joly says Canada is ready to retaliate if the tariff takes effect.
Of course, we denounce these illegal tariffs, and we think that they're a direct attack against our workers and now on in the copper industry, and so we'll fight against them.
Joly didn't specify what type of response would be considered. According to Natural Resources Canada, the U.S. was this country's largest copper importer in 2023, accounting for 52% of the total export value. Canada's plan, meantime, to rearm militarily with Europe is front and center in Prime Minister Mark Carney's foreign policy.
But according to a new report, the move threatens to provoke the U.S. president. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
About 75% of the military equipment Canada uses comes from the United States. To reduce reliance, the Prime Minister signed a security pact with the European Union last month.
Our strategic Canada-EU or EU-Canada strategic partnership for the future will build a new and deeper relationship.
That new partnership with the EU could put Canada in the retaliatory crosshairs of the Americans, according to a new report written by former Canadian defense and security officials.
The U.S. might respond in a negative way and start canceling U.S. contracts to Canadian companies.
One pressing matter, the F-35s. Canada has paid for 16 American fighter jets. The government is evaluating if it should turn to the Swedish Gripen fighter instead for the rest of its order. But the U.S. ambassador has warned against doing that.
Canadians are flying one airplane. We're flying another airplane. It's no longer interchangeable. And so, that might even threaten NORAD.
The EU defense partnership also gives Canadian companies access to European markets. But the report's authors note some members can veto trade deals.
If you look at our free trade agreement that we have with Europe, a number of countries within Europe still have not ratified it.
The Europeans need critical minerals to build its defense capability. The report highlights regulatory barriers in provinces like BC, which could delay projects by years. The authors stipulate that in the face of economic threats that could continue beyond the Trump administration, turning to European allies to help safeguard Canadian sovereignty isn't just a bold move, it's a necessary one. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said today she is hopeful a trade deal with the United States will be reached by July 21st.
This is an effort that we are putting all our weight behind. It is necessary for the health of our economy and the benefit of Canadian workers and Canadian businesses. Therefore, I will say that we are still hopeful that an agreement can be achieved.
Anand declined to comment further on how talks are progressing, but said Canada was looking forward to a constructive deal with the United States. Also in Malaysia, the top diplomats of the United States and Russia met face-to-face. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on how to end the war in Ukraine. Rubio says it was a, quote, frank conversation.
I echoed what the president has said. Both disappointment and frustration at the lack of progress in peace talks or in a path forward. So we'll continue to engage. We shared some ideas and comments, which I'll take back to Washington as early as this evening in terms of calls and reflected, and perhaps there's something to build on there.
The meeting came after hundreds of Russian drones attacked Ukraine's capital overnight, killing 2 and injuring others. Officials in Gaza say at least 34 Palestinians were killed in Israeli strikes overnight. Hospital officials said the deaths included 10 victims of a strike that hit outside a medical clinic. Israel's military, meanwhile, says one of its soldiers was killed in Gaza today. Fighting in Gaza has shown no sign of slowing as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meets with U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington this week to work on a U.S.-led ceasefire plan. Hopes for an agreement appeared to be fading as Netanyahu prepared to return to Israel.
The death toll from flash flooding in central Texas is now confirmed at 120, and that number is expected to keep rising. 161 people are still missing in the hardest hit area of Kerr County, including 5 girls and a counselor from a summer camp along the Guadalupe River. Meantime, 3 people have died after flash floods hit New Mexico on Tuesday. According to the National Weather Service, floods killed an average of 113 people per year in the U.S. over the past decade, accounting for nearly 1/6 of all weather-related deaths.
And NASA's deploying 2 special planes to help with the search and recovery efforts. The WB-57 and Gulfstream 3 aircraft are equipped with sensors that are most often used during space shuttle launches. They can provide high-resolution imagery of the terrain and can even see below ground. NASA is also using satellites to track conditions on the ground and sharing the information with first responders in real time. And hundreds gathered for a worship ceremony at a high school stadium in Texas to honor the flood victims. The disaster is now the deadliest inland flooding in the U.S. since 1976.
A warning about this next story. The details are disturbing. A 17-year-old boy has been arrested and charged with attempted murder and sexual assault with a weapon after an 8-year-old girl was attacked in Eastern Ontario. CTV's Scott Hurst joins us now. And Scott, I think what makes this so unsettling is the fact that initially police thought this girl was attacked by an animal.
Michelle, the details about what happened are incredibly heartbreaking and disturbing, and now a dramatic and bizarre turn of events in the investigation, as we are learning from police that the suspect, a 17-year-old who cannot be named or identified as they are a minor, was arrested earlier this week on Tuesday. The OPP ruling out now the possibility of an animal causing these brutal injuries, announcing the charges against the teenager with attempted murder and sexual assault with a weapon. Now let's walk this back and go through the original details of the incident. Officers responded initially to reports of a missing child on Monday, June 23rd. A few hours later, they located the 8-year-old girl just before 12:30, so early morning in the hours of Tuesday. The child, however, was suffering significant life-threatening injuries and rushed to hospital. According to the OPP, while early evidence suggested a possible animal attack, investigators did not rule out the possibility of human involvement. Now, more testing was done with more experts brought into the fold, and now it's been revealed samples taken from the victim's wounds revealed no traces of animal DNA. And now police have arrested a 17-year-old from Eastern Ontario facing those multiple charges. Here's more from the OPP.
The injuries were such that investigators had to keep an open mind as they progressed in their investigation, knowing that there was a possibility of it being an animal or that it could be as a result of human interaction. I do not know their current condition, but what I can tell you is that they are still under the care of medical professionals at this time.
Once again, Michelle, the 17-year-old cannot be identified because they are considered a minor. The 17-year-old, however, is still being held behind bars.
One can only imagine what this new information, how it's being received in the community. How are they responding?
Quadville is an incredibly small community, about 160 kilometers west of Ottawa, some hour and a half west of Ottawa. A small community, so any serious incident of this would be unsettling to those who live there. And now you add the bizarre nature of how this investigation has unfolded, and that likely adds a whole other element of shock to everything. Police initially had been warning residents to keep an eye on their kids, potentially keep them indoors, fearing this could possibly be the result of an animal. They couldn't rule that out, even telling residents that officials would be putting out animal traps as a precaution. But now the disturbing revelation of the nature of the charges here. So OPP, knowing the community might be significantly on edge because of the dramatic change in this investigation, will be holding a community meeting in the town this weekend to potentially help ease some concerns or add more details to the investigation and share whatever they can from the investigation, Michelle, with local residents.
CTV's Scott Hurst in the CTV National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Well, we are going to talk a little bit about the wet weather that's possible as we make our way into the evening hours tonight. Here's a look at your evening sports forecast. So it's not a sure thing at this point, but we do want to mention that in addition to midway through this afternoon, early evening, chance of a passing shower. And then there's the heat. We are expecting multiple days of 30 degrees or higher as we head through the weekend and continue into next week. We'll take a detailed look at your 7-day forecast on the other side of this break. You're watching CTV News at noon, and we'll be right back.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Blue Jays were looking for an 11th straight win as they wrapped up their series with the White Sox yesterday afternoon, but alas, it was not to be.
Clement running, and Straw sends a fly ball to center. Robert is there, and that's the ball game.
The White Sox beat the Jays 2-1 to snap their lengthy win streak. Toronto has the day off before beginning a series against the Athletics tomorrow. But the game, meantime, is in full swing for some young baseball fans in our city.
North Toronto girls baseball camp is being held today, and CTV's Sean Lee Thong is live with more. Sean.
Well, Nathan and Michelle, you can see the players behind me. They're playing, they're having a good time, and they have been talking about the Blue Jays because, as we know, they had that incredible streak that abruptly ended yesterday against the Chicago White Sox. But many of the girls that I was talking to today said that they particularly love the camp that they're at right now because while they have been watching the Blue Jays, they're also talking about the support they feel where it's an entirely girls camp. So they've been practicing this morning. They were playing a game of two-bag. That's where a player hits the ball and just runs straight to second base to get them more familiarized with the game. And they all talk about the support they feel from each of the players, whether it be on the team that they're with or the team that they are against. And then I asked many of them about the Blue Jays and that win streak, and here's what they had to say.
I think it's good. Yeah, it's good to win. I heard that they hadn't won in a long time, so I think it's a good high to win on.
I think it was good until last night. It's okay because they were on a really high roll, and I think they're in first place right now. I think that's very great for them.
I think that's like very good for them, and I'm looking forward to watching them win more.
We're all looking forward to watching them win more. And as you said, Michelle, off the top, that they will be flying out to California to play against the Athletics before they head into the All-Star break. And the good news out of all this is the Blue Jays are still in first place, but they have slipped one game, just 2.5 games, over the New York Yankees. Reporting live, I'm Sean Lee Thong. Nathan and Michelle, send it back to you.
It's all good. We'll forgive it. The Jays are so fun.
It's just one loss.
Exactly, right? We're not giving up at all. Weather-wise, hey, if you're playing baseball, soccer, I mean, really, when the weather cooperates, it makes camp that much more fun. Last night, we did see some heavy rain at times. Did you see lightning?
Yeah, well, funny, when I was heading home, I thought, geez, we're going to get a little bit of rain because I thought we might escape it. And it seems like every day there's this looming threat of possible rain.
There is. We also had a bit of a shelf cloud in some parts of the GTA. It kind of looks like a spaceship as it's moving across the city. But also some much needed rain. The lawns and gardens are starting to feel it a little bit right now. So I think for some, a little bit of shower activity wouldn't be the worst thing today, although today it's not a guarantee. Very isolated areas expected to get some wet weather, and we're going to be hot through a good portion of our 7-day forecast. Let's get to it. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Wet weather for some last night, but a beautiful start to the day today. Gorgeous sunrise. Look at this view from our CTV News chopper, flying high above the Scarborough Bluffs area. Oh, I never get tired of seeing that. Today is a good day to maybe venture outside. There is a mugginess out there that you'll want to prepare for, so hopefully kids had some extra water bottles when they went to camp earlier today. And as you venture out this afternoon, don't forget the sunscreen. We're at an 8 today on the UV index. And also, we're monitoring for the potential for a quick passing shower or a thunderstorm. Gorgeous shot there. Let's take you to our satellite and radar. I mentioned a little bit of a cell that is bubbled up here to the southwest of Barrie, and then a couple of sprinkles of rain over toward Halton Hills, inching closer toward the south end of Halton as well. Big picture look, though, we're dry in most parts of southern Ontario today. Just watching for midway through this afternoon, I would say, and then as we make our way into the evening, that chance of some wet weather is going to continue. So here's what it looks like on the forecast radar. You can see a little bit of shower activity bubbling up midway through the afternoon, so there's about 3 p.m. These are not expected to be severe thunderstorms. Better chance of that happening today in eastern Ontario and southern Quebec, but we still could get a bit of a decent downpour, maybe a little bit of thunder and lightning in some areas. There's around 8 p.m., so again, just the potential. Isolated cells impacting the GTA. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have a little bit of cloud to start, but overall, it is a mix of sun and cloud kind of Friday. It's going to be hot as well. And then Saturday, we're going to watch for some late day wet weather moving in, and this could possibly impact your Sunday somewhat as well. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Temperature-wise, so there's the temperature, and then there's what it feels like. 27 degrees at this hour, feeling like 35. So a noticeable difference today compared to the last couple of days. It's going to feel like 37 at the warmest point of the day today, which is still happening late in the afternoon at this time of year because the days are in fact so long, although tonight's sunset time is 9 p.m. So we're starting to get those days becoming a little shorter. There's that UV index that I mentioned, an 8 for today. Overnight tonight, we slip to a low of 18 degrees. That is near normal. Partly cloudy skies again through the overnight. Our chance of showers is mainly through the evening as opposed to overnight. And then here's tomorrow at a glance, a 30-degree day, once again feeling like 37. Mainly sunny skies, save for that little bit of cloud cover that I mentioned in the morning. And then here's a quick little journey across our province with select cities to give you an idea of what is expected tomorrow afternoon. Now, you're going to get used to hearing 30 degrees or flirting with 30 quite a bit over the next 7 here. Look at these forecast highs, 30 for Friday, 31 on Saturday, and then about 30 degrees for Sunday. It's possible that some communities will remain in the upper 20s, but for the most part, we are looking at a hot stretch of summer weather, and it is mostly dry. I mentioned the late day showers on Saturday, possibly into Sunday as well, but at this point, it is looking like wall-to-wall sunshine through the early part of next week. That's your look at the forecast for now. Nathan, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Officials at Pearson Airport say they're ready for a busy few weeks now that peak summer travel season is underway. The Greater Toronto Airports Authority says it expects 11.2 million travelers to pass through Pearson Airport this summer. That'll mean about 160,000 passengers on some of the busiest days, boarding around 1,100 flights. Officials say it's a good idea to arrive at least 2 hours before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights to have time to check in and go through security.
Coming up, diagnosing ourselves without a medical degree. Whether it's turning to AI or the flood of info online, Ontarians are taking matters into their own hands, and actual doctors are concerned. There was a slight increase in the number of measles cases reported over the last week. Public Health Ontario says it's aware of 21 new infections for a total of more than 2,200 since the start of the outbreak last October. Last week, the added case count was 12, reflecting a drop in the rate of spread. Officials say the vast majority of cases are among Ontarians under the age of 19. More than 94% of patients who were hospitalized for measles are not vaccinated. A new survey is shedding light on the extent to which Canadians are turning to artificial intelligence for medical advice amid a shortage of family doctors.
The Ontario Medical Association is warning about DIY diagnosis and treatment. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
If you use social media, chances are you've seen something like this.
Anybody out there that thinks radiation and chemotherapy cures is an idiot.
A reel about one health concern or another, oftentimes claiming to debunk medical information we get from our doctors. The impact? Well, according to a 2025 survey by the Canadian Medical Association,
62% of Canadians have encountered health information that they later found to be false or misleading.
The Ontario Medical Association sounded the alarm about taking matters into your own hands, while at the same time acknowledging why it may be happening.
It could be lack of access to physician care. We know we're in a healthcare crisis. And there could also be fear or lack of trust in the medical profession.
The issue, says the OMA, is that the consequence of pursuing treatments found on the internet may not help. And at the worst, they can prolong symptoms while causing unnecessary harm.
I had a patient who had a tube going into their kidney because it was blocked. And they actually tried to put the twine from a weed whacker in to get out the sludge that was in there. And they were asking about actually putting in a little bit of Lysol to clear it out.
Cancer specialist Dr. David D'Souza cited case after case of patients who sought their own remedies to their own detriment, adding that physicians need to build a relationship of trust with their patients and, instead of being judgmental, make attempts to understand what they're communicating.
Just many years ago, there were some physicians who would basically say, I don't want to hear it if it's anything else. And I don't think that's been the right approach.
Quite frequently, doctors say patients are coming in having diagnosed diagnose themselves. So again, to restore trust, caregivers need to hear them out. And
if there is a discrepancy, let's say what they think they have is not what I think they have, then we have an open discussions about it.
The OMA concluded by saying disinformation is something we need to manage as a society, and healthcare is not immune. Janice Golding, CTV News.
A warning, some images in this next story might be hard to watch for those who are squeamish. For the first time, a robot successfully performed surgery without any human help. CTV's Abigail Bimman explains why researchers are calling this a major accomplishment.
We successfully completed all 8 ex vivo studies without any human intervention.
You're watching a robot perform realistic surgery without human help for the very first time.
I lost my mind. I think this was such a crazy accomplishment.
Lead study author Ji Woong Brian Kim couldn't believe it, watching the robot, called SRTH, successfully perform a gallbladder surgery on a dead pig. Built and trained with the same architecture that powers ChatGPT, SRTH watched videos of surgeons at work.
It's a model that's actually learned and actually kind of understands the surgery rather than, being just pre-programmed.
While no human intervention was needed, there is a human who can override the robot if necessary.
Our goal is not to replace surgeons. We want to just make the surgery easier so that surgeons can perform more surgeries, fewer complications.
As long as the robot has the data, researchers say it should be able to perform any kind of surgery. They're already working on next steps to get ready to operate on a live pig. This is a simulation with food coloring to imitate blood.
First thing that strikes me as an ethicist is consent.
Bioethicist Carrie Bowman says we need more data and research as AI in healthcare moves forward.
What's this going to look like for a country like Canada? Is this going to bring down wait times? Is this going to raise efficiency? It may. I'd like to keep an open mind about this.
As for when robots could perform surgeries on humans, researchers say that's still a number of years away. But experts warn AI is moving fast, and we need to be ready by answering all the difficult questions around its use. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
You've likely heard of Ozempic and Wegovy. They are big players in the weight loss market, and the field is getting crowded.
Well, there's a new weight loss drug on the market in Canada now that research has shown packs a powerful punch. Our health reporter Pauline Chan takes a look at the new option.
The new injectable drug is called tirzepatide and is marketed as Zepbound.
For Obesity Canada, we're excited about anything that improves access and understanding around the disease of obesity. So having more treatment options is nothing but a great thing.
In the big trial that they actually did, patients who were at the highest dose lost about 48 pounds. So that's about 22% of their overall weight change. Whereas with the Wegovy product, we're seeing about a 17% change in weight.
Dr. Sean Wharton points out that's in people who started with an already elevated weight. Health Canada has approved Zepbound for people who are obese or who suffer from complications due to excess weight.
So type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, or there's a lot of other complications of those white adipose fat cells that sit mainly in that central area, right? And they increase the risk of a heart attack and high blood pressure and a number of other things.
The biggest misconception that people have about obesity is that it's about personal choice and that it's about a lack of willpower or laziness. And we fundamentally know that that is not true. Obesity is a really complex, chronic disease that people will live with for their entire lives.
Both Obesity Canada and Dr. Wharton say it's not about achieving a movie star figure. People with a large frame don't need weight loss drugs if they are healthy. Provincial funding for Zepbound is still being decided. Zepbound can have side effects, but those usually fade with time.
We're talking about having some nausea or having loose stools. And so those are the common ones, but those are transient.
And Lisa Schaefer says her own mother is allergic to tirzepatide, so she can't take Zepbound. That's why having many options is so important. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still to come, you may be tempted to try private investing to make more money, but it can be risky. We have that consumer alert after the break.
Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There are concerns ice time in West End hockey arenas is melting away.
One hockey school is calling for the city to maximize the hours of the rinks that are running to improve access. CTV's Natalie Johnson has the details.
On the ice for a summer skate. Ask these kids, and there is no off switch in the off season.
If you play in the summer, it improves your playing style a lot. Training always to get better. It feels nice to get on the ice and have fun.
But here at Lambton Arena on Dundas West near Jane Street,
we have 5 groups, and they're working on skills and situations.
The head of Central Hockey Academy is worried the community's arena access is on thin ice.
A lot of rinks have closed in the city, and the city is not making more rinks available.
Nearby George Bell Arena is undergoing roof repairs and won't reopen until September 2026, while redevelopment plans for the Weston Lions rink have left the future of that facility in limbo. The Central Hockey Academy was granted daytime ice at Lambton this summer during the George Bell closure, but come September, this arena will sit empty on weekdays until 4:30 p.m.
There's women's groups that have not been accommodated. There's adult men's groups. There's adult skills groups. There's parent and talk groups. There's public skate groups. All daytime groups that have not been accommodated. Because there are so few ice rinks in this area relative to the demand, we have teams training in the mornings. So maybe on a Friday morning, a 6:30 till 8 a.m. practice before school.
The city tells CTV News that it can adjust the operating hours of its arenas based on need, but that the opening hours do reflect the demand for service. Dr. O was told by city staff in an email, though, that the availability, quote, comes down to larger issues in facility management, which we cannot work around at this time. After months of battling for fall and winter ice time, the Central Hockey Academy was offered 3 morning slots at another rink on the same day CTV News contacted the city. Dr. O says, though, the city needs to make the few facilities it does have available during the daytime.
They leave rinks like this just sitting here,
so that kids like this have every opportunity to get off the couch.
Yeah, I'll just be sitting around watching TV.
And onto the ice. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
If you have guaranteed investments with your bank, you may make returns of 4 to 5% a year, and your money should be safe and secure.
If you trade stocks, you could even make higher returns. Some people hoping to make more than that may choose private investing, but it can be risky. CTV's Pat Foran has this consumer alert.
How much does $30,000 mean to you, Helen?
That's my life.
Helen Boodoo of Scarborough says it was a year and a half ago when someone she knew offered her the chance to invest in a landscaping company.
I said, fine, I don't mind. And then I go take out all my money from my bank and give it to them. And then now I'm broke.
Boodoo was told if she invested $30,000, she would get back her principal plus $3,000 interest in just 2 months. She had them sign a promissory note, but when it was time for her funds to be returned, she was told the money was gone.
I tell them I want my money. She said, we don't have no money. You give me free money and we enjoying the money. I cry every day. Every day I cry.
I'll park some money there and just try something different than stocks and bonds.
Nick Hatzimalis of Richmond Hill saw an opportunity to invest in real estate. He invested $60,000 and was told he would receive interest payments for a year and a half and then get back his entire amount. He did receive some monthly payments, but they stopped, and now he's worried his entire investment is in jeopardy.
Now I'm in a position where I can't get my money back. At least not anytime soon. I took that gamble and it bit me.
Remember that your money is going out there. Remember to be safe. Get a third-party opinion.
Marani Law, a firm that helps investors with private lending, says there are risks involved and you need to do your research carefully before investing.
Go to a lawyer or somebody in the industry who's able to review the documentation before you release your funds.
Boodoo went to court to try and get her money back, but her case is at a standstill. Hatzimalis is hopeful his funds will eventually be returned, but both regret trying private investing.
I'm 73 years old, and that is all I'm living on, and they don't want to pay me. So what am I supposed to do?
That's what I was going for, something safe, something that I knew I was going to get my money back. I probably would have been better off just putting in a GIC.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
The original Birkin bag, owned by British actor and singer Jane Birkin, just sold for a whopping $8.2 million US, making it the most expensive handbag to ever sell at auction. The scuffed and stained black leather handbag was on the block at Sotheby's in Paris. It was the inspiration for the iconic Hermes design after Birkin told the fashion house she needed a practical bag for daily life. She sold her original Birkin in 1994 to benefit AIDS research, and it has changed private hands more than once since. Birkin died in 2023 at the age of 76.
Sir Paul McCartney has set his first North American tour since 2022, and he's bringing the show to Hamilton. The legendary singer-songwriter added a stretch of new dates to his Got Back World Tour. He'll be the inaugural performer at Hamilton's newly revamped TD Coliseum, November 21st. Montreal is the only other Canadian stop. Tickets go on sale to the general public July 18th. Another family film franchise from the 2000s is reportedly getting a reboot.
And the most important thing of all to remember, don't let anything in or out.
Deadline reports development is underway at 20th Century Studios for a reboot of Night at the Museum. It's expected to feature all new characters after Ben Stiller led the three originals between 2006 and 2014. The story is based on a 1993 children's book about a night watchman at a museum where the exhibits come to life after dark. There's no word on a release date.
Coming up, an award-winning Toronto singer is getting set for a summer residency at the iconic Palais Royal. We'll have the details after the break.
Emergency crews responded to an apparent truck fire on the 401 over the noon hour in Ajax. This was the scene in the eastbound lanes near Lake Ridge. Now, the cab of a transport truck in the shoulder lane looks all but destroyed, with white foam covering the charred vehicle. Lanes were closed in the area as emergency crews responded, but some cars have started getting through again. So far, there's no word on any potential injuries or what may have sparked the fire. A local musician is setting up residency at the Palais Royal.
Sean Jones is bringing more than just music to the Grand Old Ballroom and is inviting you to spend a night by the lake and groove on the dance floor. Andrea Case has the story.
Sean Jones and his band are warming up for a special gig at the Palais Royal. Next Wednesday, they will begin a 4-week residency at the famed ballroom.
I had always seen the Palais Royal as I'm driving into Toronto and been like, why isn't anything happening there? It's such a beautiful place. And then I learned about the history of it. So I phoned them up and I just said, look, I'm looking for a spot. And they were like, well, we got some open dates.
Built in the early 1900s, the Palais Royal really took off as a ballroom in the 1930s, eventually with acts like Count Basie, Duke Ellington, and Oscar Peterson performing. And oh yeah, the Rolling Stones in 2002. Born in Toronto, the once shy high school student's life changed forever one day in French class.
I went up to the front of class, butterflies in the stomach, and I started singing, and every girl in that room just went. And I was like, this is it. And so literally that is what started the train moving.
Jones went on to be a member of the Juno Award-winning group In Essence and dreamed of being a lawyer, but the arts kept calling. Sean is also an actor, like his namesake.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery?
Yeah, my mom loves Sean Connery, and that's how the name came about. They are looking for a new Bond, and I look good in a tux, trust me.
As for the residency, which will run on 4 Wednesdays in July and August, his show will offer more than music.
It's just getting harder and harder out there for younger artists to move ahead. So if I can create a space where they can come and perform and share their music with my fans, and hopefully those fans will become their fans, that to me is like a win-win all around.
July 16th, Revival, Sean Jones and this band. Come on out, Palais Royale.
Andrea Case, CTV News.
You know, I've seen Sean Jones perform, and he's a great singer, talented.
Oh, love those songs. Yeah, wonderful. And guess what? We have, as we near the end of the week, some bright sunshine, some warmth. We've got some solid summer days ahead.
We do. It's going to be a nice couple of days to spend some time by the lake, especially if you're looking for maybe a little bit of relief from the heat. You could find it there. One more look at our current temperatures and humidex values. It is feeling well into the 30s right now, and it's going to feel like 37 at the height of the day today. We are keeping an eye on the satellite and radar, starting to see a few more showers start to initiate and travel just along the north shore of Lake Erie there, and then in the other areas that we mentioned north of the city and west as well. There's tonight's low, 18 degrees, waking up to a mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow, already going to be 20 degrees at about 7 a.m. And then it is a hot summer-looking forecast over the next 7 with mostly sunny days and mainly 30-degree highs. Nathan and Michelle.
Wow. Thank you, Lindsay. And that's CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.